Hello everyone, welcome to the weekend edition of National Focus. I'm your presenter Tarnia Green. We are delighted that you could have joined us. Among the major developments, government inject $1.2 million towards Daly's road rehabilitation. HIV and AIDS response unit receives a container filled with medical supplies and equipment as donation from Sastotel, and a new slipway for fishers of Stowe. All these stories and more when National Focus returns. Stay with us. Welcome back. Time now for the details of the news. The government of Dominica continues to look after the needs of the country and this time is pumping 1.2 million ICI dollars into the rehabilitation of main sections of the Daly's Road. The Public Works Corporation recently began work on the project, which extends from the junction of Wetica to La Roche. The road project, when complete, is expected to significantly improve the road, which is now in a less than favorable condition. Parliamentary representative for the La Plaine constituency, Honorable Peter Saint-Jean, accompanied by a GIS News team, paid an official visit to the project site on Thursday. Senior project supervisor attached to the Public Works Department, Clayton John Baptist, spoke to GIS News about the scope of works involved in the project. He explained that the job will include excavation, drainage and resurfacing works.
We are looking at the rehabilitation of 1.2 kilometers of roadway with some 1,270 square meters of surface patching, 7,200 square meters of a 50 millimeter thick asphalt concrete surface, 2.3 kilometers of shoulder blading and road clearing, and 910 square meters of slipper drains.
John Baptist confirmed that a significant amount of the work has already been done.
We have done most of our excavation works for our drainage, and most of our raw material like tarish is on site, so we are just getting ready so we can get moving.
Residents of Daly's, though inconvenienced for some time, have exercised the patience. Today, parliamentary representative for the La Plaine constituency, Honorable Peter Saint-Jean, is delighted that work on this project has finally commenced.
For a while now, the road has been in terrible condition. That was complicated last November during the heavy rains that actually cut through certain areas of that road. And I have waited over a period of time. The people have been very, very patient. Finally, work has commenced. There is tremendous relief among the people. And for me, it is a big burden that is off my back.
Honorable Saint-Jean says already residents of the area and road users have begun to feel a sense of relief.
Bus drivers, the pedestrians, the general population in the area have been experiencing tremendous difficulty to the extent that in some cases people have to disembark the buses. It then traverses the bad sections and then they get back onto the buses. It means, therefore, that once work has commenced, that people feel a sense of relief. Not only so, but the pressure on the ground has been mounting. 3.5 kilometers of road. In those hard economic times, it means it's going to take tremendous resources, but it is a necessity.
Honorable Saint-Jean says although the project has been given to the Public Works Corporation, residents have been subcontracted to undertake certain phases of the project, thereby bringing some economic returns to the community.
They are actually in the process of subcontracting certain phases and portions of that road to the residents. For example, we have 4 contractors or subcontractors who will be responsible for doing the concrete works on the drains. Well, and of course, Public Works will take care of the surface, the skin patching and the asphaltic concrete layer. For me, it means that not only is the road problem going to be addressed, but we will see some economic returns within the community because the individuals are going to be engaged. It will redound to the families and indeed everybody in the area.
Weather permitting, the Public Works Corporation is expecting that works on the road will be complete by August 29. And residents of the Dailies community have begun to express gratitude for such an important project. GIS News caught up with this lady who is grateful to government and her parliament representative for keeping true to the promise of an improved road.
I'm very elated to see that the work has started in this constituency, and what I'm hearing on the ground, that the people are saying that work should have been done quite a long time, but right now it has started, that everybody is seeing that something good is happening, something great is happening. When the PAL reps come to make a promise, he keeps it. If he knows that he's not going to keep a promise, he never speaks about it. And when he does speaks about it, it means that there is something along the pipeline coming out. You understand? And the mere fact we all are seeing, whether you are criticizing, whether you are against, whether you are for, your eyes will see what he is talking about.
This resident of Dailies is especially grateful to the government for paying attention to the drainage needs of the area.
I commend the government on that anytime they are building roads, that drains should be the number one thing they should look about, drainage of the roads, because when you see the rainfall, especially when you see it's raining, that the amount of water that goes down, it washes away even the asphalt or anything they put on the road. So the mere fact that the drains are being constructed on the road, it's looking forward that we have a stronger road. And I don't think after the completion of this drain on the road, I don't think the government will have any much work to do on the road in the near future.
Leroy Williams is a contractor engaged on the project. He views this project as bringing much needed employment for the young men of Dailies.
That's very good for them because the job flow in Dailies is very slow for now. Very, very, very slow. So it's a good way out for them, for the young guys in the village now.
In more news, Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit has announced that employees, in particular government ministries represented in the Portsmouth area, should schedule time to volunteer at the Calls Center, the center where adolescents learn to love and serve. Honorable Skerrit visited Calls on Wednesday with U.S. dignitaries, including the United States Ambassador to Dominica, His Excellency Harry Palmer. The Prime Minister believes that Calls is performing a national service, and due to their little resources, the institution is unable to employ all the help that it needs. The Honorable Prime Minister said that selected government employees should consider their volunteerism as service to the state and that he will discuss the matter with the relevant ministries.
I believe that there has to be smarter partnerships, and I believe that the Ministry of Youth Affairs, the Adult Education Department, and the Ministry of Education, all of them have staff in Portsmouth area. And I think they need to timetable their schedule such that they can become facilitators there also at Calls, being paid by the government of Dominica to help in reaching out to as many students as possible. So this is something that I will have to discuss with the ministries concerned and to get them to schedule calls as part of their responsibility to the state.
Honorable Skerrit, during his visit on Wednesday, spoke of the great contributions that Calls is making to the country. The Prime Minister stated further that provision was made in the 2012-2013 national budget to make a donation to Calls, the amount of which he said they will be very happy to have. In related news, following their visit to Calls on Wednesday, the U.S. Ambassador to Dominica, the Director of Peace Corps Dominica, and a representative of the U.S. Embassy, along with Prime Minister Skerrit, journeyed to the Portsmouth Public Library to play a part in encouraging children to read by donating children's book to that institution. The United States Ambassador to Dominica, His Excellency Harry Palmer, on behalf of the U.S. Embassy, officially handed over a number of books to the library, and he felt that by making that contribution, a message is being sent out of the importance of reading.
Over the years, the United States Embassy has donated many, many thousands of books throughout the Eastern Caribbean as a part of our book donation project. One of the reasons I like book donations is because it encourages reading, and that is so important to all of us. Reading opens up the minds and imaginations. Through reading, you can travel to all parts of the world. You know what China is like, and Europe, and Africa, and wild animals. It's a way to experience the world. So I particularly love book donations.
The Honorable Prime Minister felt the same way.
Reading is very important. Most people do not read sufficiently. And we always like to say what somebody else has said. But oftentimes we never say what we have read.
Prime Minister Skerritt had a few words of advice for the children present.
It's important for you as young people to read, and to read every day, because that's how you're going to be smart, and that's how you're going to pass your exams. And when you get to grade 6, you can get a scholarship to attend the Portsmouth Secondary School or the Seventh-day Adventist Secondary School. So I'm very happy to see you here, and I can see that you all read every day, all right? You read storybooks and you read your own books from school. I know you watch some television, but the students who are here today watch a little bit of television and they read plenty. Is that true? Yes. But I know it is summertime, it is holiday time, and that's when you watch plenty TV and you read a little. Okay? There's nothing wrong with that. You have to free up yourself a bit and enjoy your vacation after a long year at school.
Librarian at the Portsmouth Library, Monique Matthew, received the books and expressed her gratitude on behalf of the Dominica Information and Library Service.
On behalf of the management and staff of the Dominica Library and Information Service, I would like to express my heartfelt thanks to the U.S. Embassy for this generous donation of children's books. I can assure you that they will go a long way in improving the literacy skills of our students, not only at the Portsmouth Library, but also at the 9 schools serviced by the Portsmouth Mobile Library and the general public.
Following the handing over of the books, Prime Minister Skerritt took a moment to read to the children.
There are times when Anna feels like a bird. It is the birds, after all, that fly north in the spring and south every fall, chasing the sun, following the warmth. The family is a flock of geese beating its way there and back again. What would it be like to stay in one place, to have your own bed, to ride your own bicycle? Anna wonders. Now that would be something. It says there are moments when she feels like a rabbit. How many of us feel like a rabbit sometimes? Or a bird? A bird. And wish we could fly away. Huh? Right. So, okay. Not the sort with the white fluff of tail, but a jackrabbit. Those rabbits live in abandoned burrows, the father has told her.
And after a year of communication between the National HIV/AIDS Response Unit and the CANTO, the Caribbean Association of National Telecommunication Organizations, Dominica has benefited from a gift of a container of medical supplies. The donation is a contribution from the SaskTel We See You project through a relationship between CANTO, a trade association of telecommunications operators based in Trinidad and Tobago, and SaskTel International. SaskTel International is an information communication technology developer out of Canada. Erin Lord of SaskTel, at a press conference on Thursday, described the thinking behind the gift.
The container comes as just one venture that the SaskTel We See You program has sent out of Canada. In 2006, SaskTel became the title sponsor for the program named We See You. And since then, the We See You program has produced many containers that have been sent to many different regions all over the world. Some of those including Kenya, Tanzania, Zimbabwe, Nepal, Uganda, and Haiti. And now its 12th container has landed here in Dominica. One of the goals of the SaskTel We See You program is to connect youth and local corporate sponsors with nonprofit organizations in international communities who can help provide medical and educational support to the most vulnerable people in their community. This is why SaskTel International was so fortunate to have an amazing partnership with the Caribbean Association of National Telecommunications Organization, CANTO, who back in September of last year first introduced us to the National AIDS and HIV Response Program.
Tricia Balthazar, representing CANTO, gave a brief overview and background into the functions of CANTO.
This is the second initiative in which CANTO has facilitated SaskTel in a venture of such. The first being in St. Vincent, and this will definitely not be the last. The National AIDS and HIV Response Program, and by extension the people of Dominica, are recipients of the collaborative efforts of the SaskTel We See You project through the facilitation of CANTO. Just a little background into CANTO. It was founded in 1985 as a non-profit association of telecommunications companies in the Caribbean. The objectives then and now is to establish a forum through which Caribbean telecommunication organizations may exchange information and expertise pertaining to the telecommunications field, generate inputs for orderly growth of the sectors, formulate policy, and consider matters of mutual interest to its members. Over the past 28 years, our membership has grown from 8 members in 8 countries to 108 members in 33 countries.
Balthazar went on to speak of the selection process and CANTO's satisfaction with Dominica being a recipient of the donation.
The National AIDS and HIV Response Program was selected by CANTO because, one, they were located in a member country. Lime, Dominica, and Carib Telecoms are both members of CANTO. And 2, because of their great work in Dominica as it relates to the AIDS and HIV awareness and prevention. CANTO made a great choice in selecting this association, as we believe that they will definitely put the supplies received by SaskTel to good use. And once again, thanks to the members of SaskTel for involving CANTO in such a feel-good opportunity, and we thank the National AIDS and HIV Response Program for accepting the same.
Dominica's Chief Medical Officer, Dr. David Johnson, is optimistic that the items will help improve the quality of service offered to patients.
The ministry is very pleased to be associated with this activity. This donation that is being donated here today, organized by CANTO and SaskTel. We recognize that there is significant economic hardship worldwide, and I know therefore that the Ministry of Health, and by extension the National HIV/AIDS Coordinating Unit, is very pleased that SaskTel has chosen Dominica, and in particular the National HIV and AIDS program, to make this kind gesture. It's my understanding that you're involved in telecommunications, and therefore we are very pleased that as part of your corporate responsibility, you have decided to make a contribution to the health sector. This donation of supplies and equipment will certainly go a long way in improving the lives of persons who are infected and affected with HIV/AIDS who are living in Dominica. Not only those directly affected and infected with HIV/AIDS, but also the donation will assist the Ministry of Health in delivering or improving some of the services that we are offering to our clients.
The contents of the container has been valued at US $5,000. And finally, this news time, fishermen of the Dubic Stowe communities now have a safer place to secure their boats, especially in time of stormy weather. A sleepway facility costing in excess of 100,000 EC dollars was recently built to accommodate the boats for launching purposes. Fisheries Minister and Parliamentary Representative for the Pitt-Savan constituency, Honorable Dr. Kenneth Darrow, believes this new development is another manifestation of government keeping true to looking after the needs of the island's fisherfolk.
I would think that generally that the fishermen of that area will be happy that they can now bring up the boats in the time of hurricane season to safety.
The minister says the erection of a slipway is not the only facility planned for the Stowe area. He says plans are to construct a fisheries complex in the not-too-distant future.
As I have told the fishermen, of course, some people have been commenting, oh, I mean, this little slipway within 4 hours within this area needs something much bigger. But as I told them, I've told you before, and I've told the constituents that we have, of course, bigger and better plans for that particular area. We think that's an area that's carried actually for the next fisheries complex. In Dominica already, we started discussions with a lot of our various partners, namely the Japanese, to see, okay, how we can develop this area.
Meanwhile, the Fisheries Minister and Parliamentary representative is reporting that fisherfolk of his constituency are benefiting from the Petro-Caribe filling station now operating in Fort Saint-Jean. The filling station has organized a rebate system in which fishermen receive 50 cents back on every gallon of gas purchased.
From all reports, this has been, in fact, I met with the Fisheries Cooperative who are with the entity managing the filling station. I met with them, I think, 2 months ago. And from all reports, things have been going wonderful. The turnover has been tremendous. In fact, I've been informed that even that some of the members have already received small bonuses on the rebate that have been given to them by Petro-Caribe. It's been really going well. And the people are happy. No longer do they have to hire vehicles to go down all the way to town for fuel. Fuel is right there on the shore. And I said, from what report, things have been going wonderful.
And that's the English segment of the news. We now join Macpherson St. Louis for the Creole highlights.
Alors tout le monde, bienvenue à ces nouvelles en créole. Non moins, c'est Macpherson St. Louis. Premièrement, Premier ministre Honorable Roosevelt Skerritt, car oui, commitment qui programme Yes We Care qui continue, qu'on gouvernement qui a poussé devant et puis programme social en pays là. Programme ça là qui initiative Premier ministre là, car one service social ba moun qui pas paye ou type yo pour différentes raisons. Selon Honorable Skerritt, gouvernement qui fait provision en budget l'année là pour ces catégories moun là. Programme Salah qui a tombé en bas Growth and Social Protection Strategy GSPS qui cabinet approuvé en l'année 2006 et puis augmenté en l'année 2008. Honorable Skerritt fait parole qui autant ces moun salam fait en contribution développement Dominique comme ça gouvernement ni responsabilité au pays à présent. En d'autres nouvelles, le département Sida Dominique Katapé Koayo a dans une meilleure position pour traiter les gens qui ont souffert de virus Sida. Des organisations charitables, Chaskel et puis Kanto, collaborent et puis ramasser bagaille qui département Sida qui servent des gens et puis maladies là. Ces organisations-là font présentation en gros container et puis équipement et plusieurs d'autres bagailles pour le département là gérer. Chef département SIDA, Nurse Julie Frampton, oui merci ces organisations-là pour donation à eux.
Des agencies, yon hod Canada, eve yon hod Trinidad qui vini ensemble, eve yo kabano equipment nous a servi et other supplies nous a servi pour l'hôpital là, pour moun qui ka vive avec HIV. So nous ka remercier yo pour ça, nous bien content qui temps bien wed ces jours ça là. So ti cadeau nous ka taper nous ke point. So nous ka di yo merci Saskel et Kanto pour go effort ça là pour bano on go container qui plein bagay nous a servi.
En autre nouvelle, membre parlement pour constituency P. Bush, Honorable Matthew Walter, déjà bas résident communauté Benz, assurance là, qui gouvernement a mis en place réparer chemin en haut Benz qui mauvais pour un longtemps à présent. Honorable Walter ba commitment salam pendant était adressé cérémonie ou la contract ici pour un système d'eau neuf ba communauté salam. Selon Honorable Walter, chemin là parti sa wanger plus compagnie de Wasco ni pour travail lié pipe à ce même chemin ça là pour projet de l'eau là. Honorable Walter fait par wall si vous fait chemin là avant ces pipe là lié, ça même quand on y gaspiller l'argent passe yo te ni pour bâtir. Et puis comme cela te prend décision salam qui était en mai l'enterré résident mon community Benz. Honorable Walter fait par wall qui est tout espoir que Premier ministre Honorable Roosevelt Skerritt qui fait l'argent là possible bâtir projet chemin là depuis Dowasco fini lié ces pipe là. Et puis finalement, parents qui étudient à l'école secondaire et puis difficulté passe à point, ça garde devant pendant le ministre de l'Éducation qui a implémenté un programme spécial en l'école secondaire tout le monde en pays là. Parole cela sorti du ministre de l'Éducation, Honorable Peter Saint-Jean. Si l'homme ministre Saint-Jean, c'est programme cela qui a cité ces étudiants là ou là qui apprennent en l'État. Honorable Saint-Jean aussi fait parole qui ont spécial policy éducation qui mette attention pour ça quand on fait attention au ministry. Quand même si l'homme ministre Saint-Jean, il y a des programmes d'éducation déjà implémentés en l'école primaire Goodwill et puis l'école primaire en Ozo. Messieurs, mesdames, ça c'est tout pour nouvelles en créole pour à présent. Non moins, c'est Macpherson St. Louis. Un bon week-end. Au revoir.
Thank you, Macpherson. We now join Jana Hector for the major stories which made the news this week.
Thank you, Tarnia. Here now are the major stories which made the news this week. Hundreds gathered at the Granby Catholic Church to pay their last respects to the former permanent secretary in the Ministry of Health and former parliamentary representative for the Granby constituency, John Fabian, last Saturday. The late John Fabian died at the Princess Margaret Hospital on June 22, 2012. The Dominica Water and Sewage Company, DOWASCO, this week reported on upgrades to at least 7 major water systems on the island. These projects have helped the country to accomplish one of the United Nations Millennium Development Goals. Also this week, government signed contracts and broke ground for commencement work on the new Bent water supply project. The $3.6 million project will involve the construction of a new intake and treatment facility along the Hampstead River, along with a storage tank and associated pipeworks. Prime Minister and Minister for Finance, Honorable Roosevelt Skerritt, this week took time to underscore the importance of Dominica's 15% value-added tax. The Prime Minister confirmed that while the VAT has been a crucial revenue owner for the government, there will be no increases in the VAT in the upcoming budget. The Ministry of Education announced this week that it will be embracing and promoting a new vision which will enable every child to succeed. This is being promoted through an early screening and diagnosis workshop held this week as part of the Education Enhancement Project. The workshop was a facet of a special education consultancy which began in October 2011 and will end this year. Fresh out of the CARICOM Heads of State meeting in St. Lucia, Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerritt said that of primary concern to the leaders was the issue of the bankrupt Clico Bico Insurance Company. The Prime Minister said that progress has been made towards keeping the company open and honoring members' claims. Prime Minister told a contract signing ceremony of the Bent water supply earlier this week that the 2012 budget will reflect government's continued desire to provide assistance to people who are poor and disadvantaged. He said a major allocation will be made towards the Yes We Care program in the 2012 budget. And Minister responsible for Water Resource Management, Honorable Reginald Austrie, told the groundbreaking ceremony of the Bent water supply project earlier this week that the government of Dominica in recent times has embarked on a number of major water projects across the island, amounting to over 40 million EC dollars. The minister confirmed that over the last 2 years, a number of projects have been implemented, with some currently being installed. The Ministry of Education will implement special education programs in secondary schools across the island. Education Minister Honorable Peter Seja made that announcement this week. He said parents of secondary school students with acute learning difficulties can look forward to this coming school year. The Labour Party government has spent more on young people than any other government. This from Parliamentary Representative for the St. Joseph constituency, Honorable Kelva Daru. Honorable Daru made that remark while encouraging the island's youth to avail themselves of the many opportunities provided by the current administration. And Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerritt joined the U.S. Ambassador to Dominica, His Excellency Harry Palmer, in visiting the center where adolescents learn to love and serve, CALLS, in Portsmouth on Thursday. They both attended a ceremony which served to highlight the work of CALLS, as well as AGANA, Partners of the Americas, or AGANA for short. These were the major stories which made the news this week. Back to you, Tarnia.
Thanks, Jana. And that's National Focus. As usual, we invite your suggestions and comments. Please feel free to drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm, or you can visit our website at news.gov.dm, or you could visit our GIS Dominica page on YouTube and Facebook. On behalf of the entire news team, I'm your presenter, Tanya Green. Thank you so much for watching and have yourselves a wonderful weekend.